House Party by Eric Walters, Chapter 5. I sat staring at the clock. The house was so quiet that I could hear the clock ticking from clear across the room. That seemed right. Time was everything now. We had 1 hour to go before the start of the party. It was almost 8 o'clock. Part of me couldn't wait for it all to begin, to see how it was going to work out. The other part of me was just dreading the whole thing. I didn't want 9 o'clock to arrive. I wanted time to stand still. "How do I look?" Jen asked as she entered the room. I looked her up and down carefully. I knew she wanted a serious answer. I knew that whatever I gave her, it probably wouldn't make her happy. She was wearing jeans, designer, expensive, and tight. Maybe a little too tight. Her top was low cut, but not too low cut. Her hair was all done up. She'd been working on it for the last hour, and she was wearing brand new earrings that dangled down. "You look good," I said. "Only good? I was hoping for great." "I meant to say great," I stammered. "Now you're just lying. I wish I knew about this 2 weeks ago. I would have started dieting." "Do I look fat in these jeans?" she demanded as she turned around. "You don't look fat in any jeans. You aren't fat." "I am compared to Sarah Jenkins." "Compared to Sarah Jenkins, a toothpick is fat." Jen chuckled. "Maybe you're right, but don't mention that to her tonight." "Sarah Jenkins is coming to our party?" I asked. "I invited her." "I think we've only exchanged a few words and she wasn't very nice to me when we did. But maybe it's that I just don't know her." "Believe me, if you get to know her, you'll find out she's really, really not nice at all." "Then why did you invite her?" I asked. "You want a good party, you have to invite the right people, nice or not." "She's one of the right people," Jen said matter-of-factly. "Maybe she won't even show." "We'll find out soon enough. We better take care of the last details. Do you have something like a big pot that we can use as a punch bowl?" "We have an actual punch bowl," I said. "Fantastic. Do you have some frozen juices?" "Yeah, in the freezer downstairs." "Cool. I'll get the juices, you get the punch bowl." I went upstairs while Jen went downstairs. The punch bowl was in the hall cupboard. I pulled down the box and brought it to the kitchen and carefully removed the punch bowl from the box. It was heavy, made of crystal. There was a ladle and a dozen little crystal glasses. I picked up one of the glasses and looked at it. I remembered the bowl and the glasses from when I was a little kid. I loved the way the light sparkled as it passed through the glasses. We only used them for special family gatherings. They had belonged to my great-grandmother. Maybe this wasn't so smart. I'd already put away things so they wouldn't be broken, and here I was putting out something this valuable. "That's beautiful," Jen said. She was holding a bunch of cans of frozen juice in her arms. "It is, but I'm worried about somebody forgetting or dropping a cup and breaking it, or one of them getting lost." "Forget the cups. Put them away. We use plastic cups." That made perfect sense. I put the glasses back in the box, closed the lid. It was all right to use the punch bowl. What could happen to a punch bowl? Besides, we always used it for special occasions, and this party was a pretty special event. Sure, I opened the drawer and pulled out an opener. There was a can of grape juice, 2 orange, a peach, and 2 cranberry juices. As I opened them, Jen dumped them into the punch bowl. "That's a lot of juice," I said. "People get thirsty," Jen shrugged. "I'm just worried my mother might notice them." "So what? Tell her you made some juice. It isn't like she caught you stealing their booze." "Come to think of it, where do your parents keep their booze?" "Don't worry about that. I've got it all packed away." "I'm not worried. I just need it for some of the punch." "You're going to spike the punch?" I gasped. "I think it'd be a pretty lame party without alcohol, don't you think?" Jen asked. "Well, we can't do that. My father would notice for sure if I took all of his alcohol." "Nobody's talking about all, just a little. I want to put in just enough that people can taste it so we can say the punch is spiked. I only need a few ounces. Do you think he'll miss a few ounces?" I shook my head. He probably wouldn't. "Vodka would be the best. We could put in an ounce or two or three different types. It's not like anybody's gonna be able to tell the difference. We'll put in so little that somebody would have to drink the whole punch bowl to get a buzz. I'll get the booze while you start making the punch, I said. I'd taken the bottles out of the cabinet in the living room and had stored them along with everything else under the stairs. I opened the flaps on 2 or 3 boxes before I found the right one. I dragged it out of the storage locker and put it on a little buffet in the basement. There weren't that many bottles inside. My parents weren't what you would call drinkers. My mother mainly had a little white wine with supper, and I hardly ever see my father have anything to drink except an occasional beer when he was cutting the grass. I pulled out a big bottle of vodka, one of gin, and a third of whiskey. All 3 bottles were almost full. I carried them upstairs to the kitchen. Jen had already finished opening all the little cans and dumping them into punch bowl. She was now adding water to the colorful frozen mess. I put the bottles down beside the punch bowl. This is going to taste really good, Jen said as she dumped in a pitcher of water. I grabbed a wooden spoon and started to stir up the mixture. Jen picked up the vodka, unscrewed the cap. She sloshed some into the punch bowl. Be careful, I warned, not too much. Of course not. She stopped and put the lid on the bottle. It looked to be not much different than the level before. She started pouring. She did the same with the other 2 bottles. I kept stirring the whole concoction, the spoon clinking against the sides of the bowl. Time for a sample, Jen said. She dipped in a plastic cup and scooped out a little bit, and she sipped it. Well? She handed me the cup. See for yourself. I took a sip. It's very good. I think so. Can you taste the alcohol? I took another sip. Maybe just a little? Then it's perfect. By the way, we shouldn't drink anything else tonight. We have to keep track of everything, so we can't afford for this to be a party where we get drunk. I've never gotten drunk, I said. Never? Never, I said. Have you? Jen shook her head. By the way, are you going to wear that top? What's wrong with this top? Nothing. I was just wondering, that's all, she said. I was going to wear it. That was now out of the question, and I went upstairs to change.